So welcome to this very quick tutorial. We're just going to revise whatever we've seen. So the first thing here, so I will open a new library. And I will open a new project called Revision Project. The slate here is your project, which is your timeline. So now I'm going to import some media. I will import this whole folder. I create optimized media. I create proxy in case I want to do multicam processes. And I import, and I can browse through all my shots. So if I want any info on any shot, I go to my inspector and I click the info button. Now I can see the size of my shot and any pertaining information on my shot. Right now my shot is being copied. The original is already available and it's creating a proxy. The proxy is still red because it's still in process. I can see here in the watch, I can observe shot by shot what shot is being analyzed, copied, it's importing the media, which shot is copying, how many percent of the import is being achieved so far. Final Cut Pro is a drag and drop. It works by grabbing and dropping into the timeline. In the timeline, this is my main story, which is darker, and my sub-story, which is gray on top and on bottom. Your tools are right here. You have your select tool, trim, position, range tool, blade, zoom and hand. These are all the fast keys A, T, P, R, B, Z, H to access those tools. I recommend to use the fast keys. So if I choose A, I'm on the select tool and I can trim a shot by just clicking and dragging on it. So I'm doing an edit actually here. You can also edit from the browser window. I can choose a specific moment that I want and I press the key I for in and O for out. That's my selection. And if I like that selection, I press the key F and you see a green line just appeared on the top here. If I do another select somewhere, I and O, I can see here the green has been preserved, which means that I can always reaccess my first select. You see, because my magnet here on the extreme right is on, is bluish. That means whatever I do, it will stick. If I put my cursor here, for instance, and I drag this shot, it will stick to the cut. If I put my magnet off, it will be like free flying. It won't stick to anything, and I could put it frame by frame and I can see the number of frames that I'm cutting or adding as I am browsing. 3 frame minus 11. So I put my magnet on most of the time. This way I can find my first select. I redo my in. Now it sticks to the out, and I do my out, and I drag and drop. Now these shots are in the main story. If I want to move this shot, it won't move because it is magnetized. All the pieces on the main story, which is darker here, are magnetized together. If I do want to create a gap in between the two shots to put something else, I will need to import a piece of black, which is Option W. And Option W will create a piece of black. Command Z, I'm undoing this. Or I can take my position button, P for position, and I move this piece. And as I'm moving, it's creating black. This is the black that it's created. Now I can drag that shot up on the B-roll, and now it's free to be positioned wherever I want. So this is the sub-story. This is the main story. So if I drop it down, it will be electrified. If I drop it up, it will be free to move frame by frame wherever I want. On the bottom of the shots here, you can see there is a waveform. My waveform is clicked on. I can see it. If I click it out, they all become invisible. No more waveforms are visible. Put the waveform on. Now suddenly I can see the sound. I can see which picture is sound, which doesn't have sound. Now when I have a clip that contains sound into my project window, I can zoom in here. I can adjust the volume right into my clip here directly, or I can adjust into my inspector. I choose my audio, and here's my volume, and I can change the volume, and as you see, it refreshes into the project window, and I'm adjusting volumes. Now in the audio you have all kinds of adjustments you can do. First, it's a stereophonic sound, but you may have in some instance a mono track of a dialogue that's been recording only on track 1 of the camera. Then you will choose dual mono. And so you will have a reproduction of the same sound on the other track. Back to stereo. In the audio enhancements, you have different qualities of sound that you can apply, and those will affect the curve of my graphic equalizer. This is the graphic equalizer, and if I start playing the clip and I play with the different adjustments of the graphic equalizer, I will change the quality of the sound that is reproduced. If you have a major problem with your soundtrack and you need to fix a huge hum or background noise, you just go through this arrow here, in and out, and these are the advanced settings. And here I can take background noise off, and it will help my shot sound better. So now I'm into the video of this shot here, and using the magic wand I can open the color board, and in the color board I can affect the exposure in lower, medium, or high. I can affect the saturation of colors, and generally I can affect the appearance of colors. Those are very drastic adjustments that you have to be very careful when you do them. I can reset by just pressing this backward arrow. And in the presets of the color adjustments, you have available presets like a cool adjustment, for instance, and you can see where they set their colors to create cool adjustment, or a cold adjustment, and there it's all changed again. Using presets and seeing how they create their own preset. For instance, here I'm doing a very contrasty, very dramatic lighting, and if I like what I see, I can save my preset by going to Save Preset, and I give it a name. And they will keep it, and it will be added to that list. Double-click the soundtrack area, and that will open the sound. So you can have an overlap of sound. I can extend the sound here on both sides. And so it will overlap on the next shot and on the previous shot. I can control click, and I can detach the audio completely. And there my audio now is independent. Even I can change the sync, the relationship of the sync of that shot. I will undo this twice, bring it back where it was. So if I go here in my time adjustments, just beside my color adjustments, I can slow down or speed up a shot, maybe 4 times or 8 times. And there you will have still slow-mo, but much less slow-mo. And if I want, I just grab the texture on the side here, and I can see my watch, my time change watch, and I can pull on it so I can do a manual speed change to the exact length that I need or want. So I can adjust that, play it back, and adjust as I want. You can also reverse the clip, and I'm going to freeze here, hold image. So that creates a freeze frame, and froze, and play again. In order to do a jump cut, I need to put markers. To set markers, you press on the key M, and M is for marker. Jump cut to 30 frames. And it's shortened my shot, of course. And this is a 30 frame jump cut. I have a little ball here on the side, on the beginning of my clip. If my arrows are up and down, I can adjust the volume up and down. But if I have side arrows, if I pull this ball, this becomes a fade of the sound. Fade in. And if I control click the ball, I access different kind of graph, a fast dissolve or a slower dissolve or an S-curve dissolve or a linear dissolve. When I'm very close to a cut where somebody is talking, I often close the dissolve just one frame. You can see the count here is at 0 and now it's at +1. And on the other side, if I would have a cut, a -1. And that will help this cut to pass more smoothly. With the range selector, I'm going to go on my music and click and drag just where there's dialogue. And because my magnet is on, it will find it's in and out exactly. And then I will adjust the volume down on the music, about -15, let's say. A for pointer, and there I created very elegant in and out keyframes of my soundtrack going down and going up, and I can move those keyframes left and right. I could add some sound effects here on the track, fade up and fade down on my little balls here on each side of my shot, and I could adjust the volume here slightly higher to get more of this effect. So I add tracks and I add dialogue and I put the volumes up and down, and I'm basically creating my mix. This is my button for transitions. As you browse any transition, you can see what they're doing, like a flip dissolve here with an RGB separation. I can add a dissolve here. I'll just drag and drop the dissolve on top. And I can change the length of the dissolve just by grabbing its sides and moving it in, and put it really, really short if I want to, like a very quick transition. If I put it very, very short, it's called a soft cut. Now on top of a shot like this, I could add a generator, a simple effect of lines like this here. Now it's purely opaque. So once this generator that I've added is selected, I can go in my inspector, in the complete bottom of my inspector, and find my opacity and bring my opacity down. And now I'm getting just the effect, a very subtle rays of light effect. Or I keep my opacity up and I create a mode like a NAD mode or a screen mode, overlay mode. These are my blending modes, the same you find in Photoshop. So I'll get my dissolves here and just add a cross dissolve. Placing my cross dissolve on top of this clip there, you see the whole clip is illuminated. That means it's going to create a dissolve on both sides automatically. And there you go. You can go out and share your show to different formats. And I'm going to go to settings to output video and audio. I will go to high quality 422 compression, and I go next, and I can name my file, send it to a destination, and save it.